everyone, we wanted to give you a quick real-time update on where we are. We gave our first real-time update about a month ago, and at that time we were heading out from Colorado to the Pacific Northwest. And so I've decided that I'm going to plan on giving a monthly update real-time on where we're at, since we're running a few months behind on our normal content. So after our real-time update last month, it's been a pretty strange trip indeed. Once we arrived in Seattle, everything kind of went according to plan. We stayed right on Lake Sammamish for a few days. We went to the Seahawks preseason game against the Raiders, and they beat the Raiders. Take that, Ted. After the game, we headed down the coast to Long Beach, Washington, and we went to the car show again this year. And everything was pretty much going according to plan at that point. However, once we got into the Portland area, I was supposed to have a little business trip. It got canceled, so we decided to go take a look at a couple of toy haulers. Our original plan was to get a toy hauler in March of next year, and then as soon as we got a toy hauler, we were going to get a couple of Harleys or motorcycles to put in the back of it. And the plan was to keep our Expedition and use it as a tow vehicle. Well, that kind of all went sideways when we were in Seattle, and we took our motorcycle rental trip, which was according to plan. We spent a day renting motorcycles, and we went to a Harley dealer, and Chris fell in love with a motorcycle and purchased a Harley. So that kind of put everything in motion. I wasn't about to let her have a Harley before me, even though she didn't have a way to tow it around, and was probably going to sit in storage at her father's place out here in Washington State. It kind of just got those juices flowing, and started thinking, and felt like, well, what if we trade in our Expedition and go ahead and get the motorhome, and then we'll add a tow vehicle, and then we can add a tow vehicle later. So we went ahead and looked at some toy haulers, and as you can tell, I'm not sitting in a travel trailer. We're about ready to pull out from the Walmart in Woodland, Washington, and go to our cousin Ted and Linda's place and stay there for a couple days before heading back to Seattle. But anyway, during that week in Portland, we looked at some toy haulers. We looked at the Outlaw, the Thor Outlaw. They have a few different models. We looked at one model, and then we actually were talking to a couple dealers about bringing some models into the Portland, Seattle area for us to look at and possibly purchase. And then we learned about Newmar, that they have also a Class A toy hauler. Because toy haulers aren't hard to find as a fifth wheel or as a travel trailer. But as a Class A, there's really only a couple models that we found. We found the Thor Outlaw and then the Newmar Canyon Star. And so there was a local dealer here that had a 2017 Newmar that only had 10,000 miles on it. This one. And we looked at that, and we were pretty impressed at the noticeable differences in quality from the Newmar compared to the Outlaw. So this really checked off all the boxes. We were able to get a really good trade-in on our travel trailer, and a fair trade-in on our Expedition. And we went ahead and went forward, and just got this a couple days ago, so we got everything organized. There was a big ordeal of how long it took us to get the actual unit. Actually, it felt long to us. It was about 10 days to 2 weeks to get the actual loan process completed and all the paperwork done. The loan company we went through, which was through Good Sam's, I think it's called Bank of the West or Essex Bank. It was a good experience in many ways, but they need to get with the times and technology, because this snail mail paper document, UPS overnight, that ends up showing up 2 days later, and then you sign them, send them back, and then they send a check the same way. I mean, that took about 10 days. So the process, if it done electronically, would have only been maybe a couple of days or same day. Turned in 2 weeks, and we ended up staying on the couch at our father-in-law's and my father-in-law's cabin, which is a beautiful location. we kind of fell behind on some of our content production, and so it was a pause for a specific reason to kind of speed up our process of getting our toy hauler with Harleys, which the very next day after we got this, I went and bought a Harley. So now we've got 3/4 of the equation complete on our 2020 plan before the end of 2019. So the only thing we have left is adding a tow vehicle, a flat tow vehicle. We had planned on getting a Jeep, but those plans have changed too. However, I'm not going to tell you what those plans are until we finalize the deal on our new tow vehicle, because we're in the market looking right now. So right now we're sitting in Woodland, Washington. We're going to spend a few days here with our relatives. If you remember, our Chris's cousin Linda needed a kidney, and Chris donated her kidney just a little bit over a year ago, and that's really when all this kind of started, and we decided to start traveling. So we're visiting with them. We're going to hang out and boondock at their house for a couple of days. Then we're going to go back up to Seattle for another game, and then I've actually got some work meetings in San Diego. We're going to head down the coast of San Diego, get to some nice warm motorcycle riding weather, and get out on our Harleys some. Then we will start to travel back east towards St. Louis from San Diego, and we will spend the holidays, Thanksgiving, and an early Christmas in the St. Louis area before we head to Florida for the winter.